I ended my engagement to my fiancé after she wanted a break to explore her ex. I sold our house and disappeared. My name's Liam. I'm 27, and 2 weeks ago, my fiancée Tessa, 26, told me she wanted a break. Not a breakup, not space, but a break to figure things out. Translation: she wanted to see if her ex, Dylan, still wanted her, and if not, she'd come crawling back to me like I was a safety net. We've been together since college. We met junior year at a mutual friend's birthday. She spilled her drink on me. I made a dumb joke about it being fate, and somehow, we just never stopped talking. We grew up together. First crappy apartment, first real jobs, first dog. She used to draw little hearts on my coffee cups before work. When I got promoted, she baked me a cake that said we made it. That's how I used to think of us, as a team. But for months before this break, she'd been off. I'd catch her staring at her phone, smiling at nothing. When I'd ask, she'd say it was just a meme. She started staying late at work, suddenly joined a gym she'd never mentioned before, started dressing up, even when we weren't going anywhere. I felt it, that gut-level wrongness, but I kept trying to rationalize it. She'd been stressed, she missed her friends, maybe she just needed some breathing room. Then last Sunday happened. We were sitting on the couch planning our engagement photos. I had Spotify playing low, and she was scrolling through venues on her laptop. Out of nowhere, she closed it and said, "Liam, can we talk?" That tone, flat, rehearsed. My stomach sank before she even said the next part. I've been thinking a lot lately about Dylan. I just stared at her. Dylan, as in her ex, the one who cheated on her senior year and ghosted her for months. She went on, saying she'd been confused, that seeing him at a mutual friend's wedding brought back old feelings, and that she needed clarity before we got married. She said it like it was noble. Like betraying someone was a form of self-discovery. So, what are you saying? I asked, though I already knew. She twisted the engagement ring on her finger. I think I need a break, just to be sure. It wouldn't be fair to you if I wasn't 100% certain. I laughed, not angry, just stunned. A break, to explore Dylan. She looked at me like I was being childish. I don't want to hurt you, Liam. I just need to see if what we had is still there. I remember how calm I felt in that moment, which scared me more than if I'd screamed. I stood up, walked to the kitchen, and said, "Okay." She blinked. "Okay?" "Yeah," I said. "You go find your clarity. I'll find mine." She looked almost relieved, like she thought I'd wait, like I'd be sitting by the phone, loyal little backup plan. She had no idea what was coming. That night, while she slept in the guest room, I opened my laptop, logged into Zillow, and listed our house for sale. I barely slept that night. Every time I close my eyes, I see her face, calm, almost serene, as she said she needed a break to see about Dylan. Like our 4 years together were a trial run, and I was the safe option she could bench while she chased nostalgia. By morning, the numbness had turned to something cold and sharp. I brewed coffee, made toast, and sat at the counter while she walked in, wearing one of my hoodies, eyes puffy from crying. She probably did for herself. She saw my laptop open, our Zillow listing page still up. "Liam, what are you doing?" "Listing the house," I said casually, taking a sip. "You said you needed a break, right? So I'm breaking." She blinked, processing. "You can't just, this is our house." "No, Tessa," I said quietly. "It's my name on the mortgage. You're on the decor." Her lip trembled, but not out of sadness, out of anger. "So that's it? You're just done? You ended it the second you said his name." She stormed off, slammed the bedroom door. I could hear drawers opening, things being thrown into bags. It was almost comical. Her fury, her disbelief that I wasn't going to fight for her after she'd admitted wanting someone else. The old Liam would have begged. The old Liam thought love meant patience. But something in me broke that night, and what replaced it was clarity. When she left, I didn't watch her go, just heard her car start, tires crunching down. The driveway. The silence afterward was deafening. I looked around at the life we'd built, the photos on the mantle, the framed engagement announcement her mom made, her half-finished mug of tea on the counter, and I felt this strange peace, like I'd been holding my breath for years and finally exhaled. That week I moved fast, too fast probably, but I needed momentum. I packed her stuff into boxes, carefully, not out of spite, but because I was done with chaos. Dropped them off at her sister Hannah's house with a polite text. "Tessa's things are here. Please tell her not to come by." Then I called my realtor, told her I wanted the house gone by the end of the month. She sounded shocked. She'd met us when we were still that perfect young couple, buying their first home. I didn't explain. I just said life changes. Within days, I'd accepted an offer from a company in San Francisco. A recruiter had reached out months ago about a project management role I'd turned down because Tessa and I have roots here. Now those roots were cut. The offer was still open. I said yes. Every decision felt like taking a brick off my chest. One by one, closing accounts, canceling the wedding venue, refunding deposits, I dismantled the version of life we planned. The weirdest part? I didn't cry. Not once. Not when I took down the framed save the date. Not when I dropped her engagement ring at a jeweler to be appraised. Not even when her mom called me sobbing, asking me to be patient with her, because Tessa's confused. I wasn't patient, I wasn't angry, I was done. The night before my flight west, I walked through the empty house, echoing with absence. I stood in what used to be our bedroom and whispered, "You wanted space, Tess. Here it is." I left the key on the counter and didn't look back. What I didn't know then was that Tessa's clarity with Dylan wouldn't last even a month. And when her world started cracking, she'd come running back, too late of course, to the man who'd already rebuilt his own. San Francisco felt like a different planet. I landed with 2 suitcases, a duffel bag, and this strange lightness in my chest that felt almost dangerous, like freedom with a hangover. My new apartment was a 1-bedroom with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. It smelled faintly of paint and possibility. The first night, I ordered takeout, sat cross-legged on the floor eating noodles out of the carton, and realized this was the first meal in years that didn't come with emotional tension. No waiting for Tessa to ask if I'd noticed she'd been distant. No pretending we were fine. Just silence and the hum of the city. The new job hit fast. The pace was brutal but clean. No drama, no guessing what someone meant by, "we need to talk." I was surrounded by people who were hungry, creative, and had zero interest in my personal life. It was perfect. I threw myself into it, stayed late, hit the gym afterward. The harder I worked, the less space there was in my head for her. I started climbing again, indoor rock gyms at first, then weekend trips up to Yosemite with a few coworkers. One of them, Jenna, was this sharp, funny UX designer who swore like a sailor and could deadlift her own body weight. We clicked fast, but I didn't let it go there. I wasn't ready for that kind of risk again. Still, it felt good to laugh with someone without second guessing if I was saying the right thing. Every now and then, though, Tessa would sneak into my head like static. Her voice, her perfume, the way she used to hum when she cooked. I'd shake it off and remind myself who she'd chosen to revisit: Dylan. The same Dylan who cheated on her senior year with a girl from his psych class, and then ghosted her until she begged for closure. The guy she said broke her heart, but helped her find herself. Yeah, that Dylan. I didn't reach out, didn't check her socials, didn't even let myself look at old photos. But about 6 weeks after I moved, I got a text from Hannah, her sister, Hannah. "Not my business, but you might want to know Tessa and Dylan imploded." I didn't respond at first, then another message, Hannah. "He ghosted her again. She's been calling mom nonstop. It's bad." I sat there staring at my phone, waiting for some surge of satisfaction, but what I felt was pity. Not the soft kind, the cold kind you get when someone who betrayed you finally meets their consequences. I typed back one line, "Me, hope she finds what she's looking for," then blocked the number before she could reply. 2 days later, Tessa emailed me. Subject line, "Can we talk?" The first words I'd seen from her since she left. My stomach twisted when I opened it, but not because of love, because of how predictable it was. "Liam, I made a mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. Things with Dylan weren't what I expected. I was confused and stupid, and I miss you so much. I can't stop thinking about us, about what we had. Please, just talk to me. You don't have to forgive me, I just need to see you." I reread it once, then twice. Then I closed my laptop and went for a run until my lungs burned. That night, I drafted a reply I never sent. "You didn't lose me, Tessa. You traded me." Instead, I deleted the message, archived her email, and moved on. The next morning, when I walked into the office, Jenna handed me a coffee and grinned. "You look lighter today," she said, and for the first time in months, I realized I was. The universe has this dark sense of humor, you know? Just when you think you finally outrun the storm, it throws you one last thunderclap to see if you'll flinch. 2 months after I'd ignored Tessa's email, she showed up at my building. Not a text, not a call. A full-on, real-life visit. I came home from work one night, long day, had just closed a major contract, and there she was, sitting on the steps outside my apartment, suitcase beside her, eyes red from crying. For a second, I thought I was imagining her. The wind off the bay, the low hum of traffic, her face half hidden in the sunset. It all felt surreal. "Liam," she said softly, standing up like we were still something. "Can we talk?" I just stood there, keys in hand. "How did you even find me?" "Your mom told me," she said. I didn't know where else to go. That hit harder than it should have. Didn't know where else to go. Like I was still her safe place after she'd burned it down. I unlocked the door but didn't let her in. "You got 5 minutes, talk." She started crying, real tears this time, not the performative kind I used to fall for. She told me Dylan had used her, that he promised they'd pick up where they left off, only to disappear after a few weeks. Apparently, he'd been seeing someone else the entire time. She said she'd lost her apartment because she'd taken time off work to figure herself out, and now she had nowhere to stay. "I made a mistake, Liam," she whispered. "You were everything good in my life, and I threw it away. There was a time those words would have broken me. Now they just echoed hollow." "I don't hate you, Tessa," I said finally. "But I don't trust you. And I don't save people who threw me away to chase their what-ifs." Her tears stopped cold. That's when the mask cracked. "So that's it? You're just going to stand there and let me fall apart?" "You already did," I said. She tried to push past me. I blocked the door. "Tessa, please don't make this harder." That's when she lost it, like full meltdown, screaming that I was cruel, that she'd been lost, that I was supposed to love her through it. At one point, she shoved me in the chest and called me heartless. Then she switched tactics, sobbing, begging, saying she couldn't believe I'd turned so cold. "You told me to go find clarity," she cried. "Well, I did. It's you. You're the one I want." I stared at her, and for the first time, I saw it all clearly. The manipulation, the entitlement, the way she always made her pain my responsibility. I wasn't her partner. I'd been her safety net. I stepped back inside, gently but firmly closed the door, and said through it, "You need to find somewhere else to stay. Take care of yourself." She pounded on the door for a minute, then finally stopped. When I peeked out the window, she was gone. That night, I opened a blank document on my laptop and started typing everything I'd learned since she left, every warning sign I'd ignored, every time I'd chosen peace over self-respect. It turned into a letter I'll never send, but I keep it saved under the file name closure.ext. Funny thing is, 2 days later, that post I'd made months back about moving on after betrayal got shared to a big relationship subreddit. Suddenly, my inbox was flooded with messages from people telling me I'd inspired them to leave their own Tessas. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just a breakup story anymore. It was a turning point. Update. Hey everyone, it's Liam. Didn't expect my story to blow up like that. Reading all your comments, damn. Some of y'all were hilarious. She wanted a break? Should have given her one, with the door. But a lot of you were real, raw, and kind. For those asking, no, I haven't spoken to Tessa since that night. She sent a few emails I didn't open. My realtor confirmed the house sale went through. I've been surfing on weekends, joined a local climbing group, and I'm finally peaceful. It's weird how calm it feels when the person who used to control your emotions can't touch them anymore. Some of y'all told me to get revenge. Don't worry, it's coming. But it won't look how you think. It'll be clean, poetic, and exactly what she earned. Because the best revenge isn't anger, it's indifference. And success she'll never be part of again. A week after I posted that update, life was good, uneventful, which felt like luxury. I'd stopped expecting drama around every corner. Work was thriving, my weekends were full, and my peace felt untouchable. Then Tessa found a new way to crawl out of the wreckage. It started small. A mutual friend, Ben, texted me, "Hey man, just FYI, Tessa's been telling people you're still talking, that you're working things out." I laughed out loud when I read it. The audacity. I hadn't replied to a single message since that night at my door, and now she was rewriting the story to save face. She turned her rejection into a mutual break. Classic Tessa, turned pain into performance. I ignored it at first, let people think whatever. But then Jenna, the coworker I mentioned before, showed me something over lunch one day. She turned her phone to me, brow raised. It was Tessa's Instagram post, a black and white photo of her holding a coffee cup, captioned, "Healing is messy, but love always finds its way back. Some things are worth fighting for. Second chances, add your growth." And the kicker? The tag location was San Francisco. My stomach dropped. I hadn't told her what part of the city I lived in, but I'd mentioned the company name once, back when she first emailed me. She must have done her detective work, LinkedIn maybe, because that Friday, she showed up again. Not at my apartment this time, but at my office. Security called up saying a woman downstairs claimed to be my fiancée. The word hit like a slap. Fiancée. I told them to deny entry. But by the time I got downstairs, she'd already made a scene. Tears, shaking voice, telling the receptionist she just needed 5 minutes with me. Half the lobby was staring. "Liam, please," she said when she saw me. "I just wanted to apologize properly." Her makeup was smudged, her hands shaking like she hadn't slept in days. Maybe she hadn't, but my patience was gone. "This isn't the place," I said quietly. "I know, but you wouldn't answer me," she cried, voice rising. "You won't read my messages. You won't see me. I came all the way here." "Tessa," I cut in, tone even but final. "You need to stop." Something flickered behind her eyes. Hurt, then rage. "You think you're better than me now, don't you? New city, new job, new people, pretending you're some saint while I'm the villain." "I don't think anything," I said. "I just moved on. You should too." She went quiet, trembling. For a second I thought she might hit me. Then she did something worse. She smiled. "You'll regret this," she said softly. "You always do." Then she turned and walked out, calm, collected, terrifyingly composed. That night my inbox exploded. Emails from my boss, HR, even clients. Somehow she'd sent a long, personal statement about me to my entire company mailing list, claiming I'd emotionally manipulated and abandoned her after promising marriage. She attached photos of us from happier times, our engagement shoot, trips, everything. It was humiliation wrapped in heartbreak. For about an hour, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I thought my career was over. But here's the thing. Truth has a funny way of showing itself when you stay calm. I called HR, explained everything, forwarded her previous emails, and by the next morning they'd shut her down. She'd used her work email to send it, so it wasn't hard for them to flag and delete. My boss, bless her, just said, "I'm sorry you had to deal with that. We've got your back." And for the first time since everything began, I realized something profound. Tessa couldn't actually hurt me anymore. But that didn't mean I couldn't hurt her back, without lifting a finger. See, Tessa worked in marketing. Reputation was her currency. Every social post, every smiling selfie, her whole world depended on people believing her image. So I decided to return her kindness with poetic precision. No lies, no smear campaign, just truth, delivered publicly. It started with a Reddit post, the one you're reading right now. And, oh, she was about to find out what it feels like when the person you once called boring becomes the story everyone else can't stop reading. When I hit post that night, I didn't expect it to explode. It was 2 a.m. when I finally uploaded everything. My story, the whole truth. Names changed, but the bones intact. I wasn't trying to go viral. I just wanted it out. Wanted people to see what it looks like when someone treats love like a backup plan and calls it self-discovery. By the time I woke up the next morning, the post had over 40,000 upvotes. The top comment read, "She didn't want a break. She wanted permission to cheat." Every word of it hit like gospel. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing, DMs, comments, even podcasts, asking to read my story aloud. People from all over were tagging me anonymously in threads like, "Never settle for being someone's second choice." My coworkers saw it and pieced it together, but instead of judging, they high-fived me in the break room. One guy said, "Man, that's cinematic. You handled it like a boss." The internet did what it does best. It dug. Someone recognized Tessa from a photo she'd posted back when we were engaged. The comments under her old pictures turned brutal fast. Is this the girl who wanted to explore her ex? How's Dylan these days? Within days, she locked her profile and deleted everything. I didn't encourage it, but I didn't stop it either. Because honestly, that was her doing, not mine. Actions have ripples. She just finally got caught in her own wake. 3 days later, she texted me from a new number. "Tessa, you humiliated me. How could you do that?" Me, "I didn't name you. You did that when you recognized yourself." She didn't reply, but later that night, my friend Ben messaged me saying she'd shown up at his girlfriend's house crying, saying I'd ruined her life. Apparently, Dylan had dumped her again after her little viral moment. Her firm asked her to take personal leave because clients didn't like the negative attention. It wasn't just karma, it was symmetry. Still, I didn't celebrate. Not exactly. There was this quiet satisfaction, sure, but mostly I felt distance, like watching a storm move out to sea. A few days later, I made a follow-up post, an update, just to thank everyone who'd reached out. I wrote, "Update. I never wanted revenge, I just wanted peace. But sometimes peace comes when truth does the talking. I've built something better now. My house sold. I moved to the West Coast, got the job of my dreams, started climbing again, and learned that love isn't supposed to feel like begging for air. To everyone stuck where I was, let go. Let them chase ghosts while you build something real." The comments flooded in again. People shared their own stories, of exes who'd left to figure things out, of rediscovered self-worth. One girl wrote, "I read this at 3 a.m. and packed my stuff before he could say he needed space. Thank you." That one hit me. I realized my story wasn't about Tessa anymore. It was about every person who's ever been made to feel like a backup plan. Tessa never contacted me again after that. But a few weeks later, Hannah, her sister, sent one last text. "She's moving back home with mom and dad. Lost her job. They know what happened. She's not doing great, but maybe she'll learn." I stared at the screen for a while, then replied simply, "I hope she does." And I meant it. Because revenge, as satisfying as it sounds, loses its flavor when you've already moved past the person it's meant for. That's when I realized I didn't ruin her life. She just ran out of people willing to clean up her messes. And for the first time in 4 years, I wasn't one of them. It's strange how quiet life gets once the noise finally dies down. After the storm of that post, the messages slowed. The hashtags faded. People moved on to the next viral heartbreak, and I was left with silence, the kind that used to feel empty but now felt earned. I'd wake up in my apartment to the sound of gulls over the bay, make coffee, water my plants, and just exist. Some nights, though, I'd still think about her, not in that aching way, but more like remembering an old injury that still throbs when the weather changes. I'd think about the way she used to tuck her hair behind her ear when she was nervous, or how her laugh used to sound before it became something she weaponized. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done carrying it. One Saturday, I went out climbing with Jenna and a few friends. It was a bright, salt air kind of day, and for the first time in a long time, I felt light. Halfway through the route, I realized I hadn't thought about Tessa once all morning. That realization hit harder than any revenge or closure ever could. That was real freedom, the kind that doesn't announce itself, just sneaks up and makes you realize you survived. Over the next few weeks, my life filled with good things. Jenna and I started hanging out more, slowly, naturally, without pressure. She wasn't a rebound. She was a reminder that love doesn't have to hurt. We'd cook together after work, talk about random stuff until midnight, then fall asleep on the couch surrounded by empty takeout boxes and laughter. One night, she asked me straight up, "Do you still hate her?" I thought about it for a long time before answering. "No. I think I finally stopped giving her that much space." Jenna smiled, this small, knowing smile that felt like warmth itself. "Then you're free," she said, and she was right. A few weeks later, something wild happened. I got an email from a small online magazine asking if they could feature my story in a series about resilience. They said it resonated because it wasn't just about betrayal. It was about rebuilding. I agreed on one condition. They couldn't include her real name or any identifiable details. The piece went up with the title, "When They Choose Someone Else, Let Them." It wasn't dramatic, it was honest. People shared it everywhere, and for the first time, I didn't feel exposed. I felt understood. Then, out of nowhere, I got one final message. Not from Tessa, from her mom. Liam, I know I have no right to reach out, but I wanted you to know that Tessa's been trying to get help, therapy, new job, living back home. She regrets everything. I'm not asking you to talk to her. I just thought you should know you really did matter to her. I read it twice. Then I closed the message and sat there a while, letting the weight of it settle. I didn't reply, not out of spite, just because there was nothing left to say. That chapter was done. Later that night, I took a walk along the pier. The air was cold, the city lights rippling across the water, and I realized that what I felt wasn't triumph. It was gratitude. Gratitude that she showed me exactly who she was before I built a life around her. Gratitude that her leaving pushed me to chase the version of myself I'd kept small to make her comfortable. I looked out at the dark horizon and thought, this is what starting over really feels like. No fireworks, no closure speeches, just peace. And sometimes that's the sweetest kind of revenge there is. It's been almost a year since everything fell apart. Since that night, she said she needed a break to explore Dylan, and I quietly decided that break would be permanent. I've changed more in these 12 months than I did in the 4 years we were together. Not because I wanted to reinvent myself out of spite, but because I finally remembered what it's like to live for me. The house we once shared is long gone, sold for a profit that helped me put a down payment on a place here in San Francisco. It's smaller, cozier, full of sunlight and quiet mornings. I hung one photo on the wall, me on a cliff in Yosemite, smiling with chalk on my hands and wind in my hair. It's a reminder that the only thing I really needed to hold on to was myself. Work's going better than ever. I've been promoted twice, led my own project, and for the first time in my adult life, I feel proud without needing someone else's validation. I travel, I surf, I cook with people who actually enjoy the mess. And yeah, Jen is still in the picture, slowly, carefully, in the way something real should grow. She doesn't fill a void. She fits into the space I finally cleared. Every now and then, though, the past still echoes. Like the other week when I was packing boxes at work for a move to a new office, I found the old engagement ring tucked in a drawer I never opened. I'd forgotten it was even there. It was smaller than I remembered, or maybe I'd just gotten larger in all the ways that mattered. For a minute, I just turned it in my hand, remembering what it used to mean: commitment, safety, a promise. Then I walked outside and dropped it in the donation bin down the street. Someone else could melt it down into something new. It didn't belong to my story anymore. That night, I got home and opened my laptop, just to reread the post that started all this. The comments had slowed down, but there were still new ones every day. People telling me it helped them walk away, or that they were finally moving on from someone who treated them like a backup plan. And I realized that was the real ending. Not the revenge, not the house sale, not even the job or the new love. The real ending was turning pain into something that helped people heal. I don't think Tessa's evil. I think she's human in the most tragic way. Someone who never learned how to choose herself without destroying the people who loved her. I hope she's healing, truly. I hope Dylan's just a name she doesn't say out loud anymore. But me? I'm done looking back. So here's my final takeaway. For anyone who needs to hear it, if someone ever tells you they need to figure things out while you're standing right there, don't wait around for them to decide if you're enough. That's not love, it's hesitation disguised as honesty. Let them go. Let them chase whatever ghost they think they need to find. Because the second you stop begging to be chosen, you'll realize you were never the backup. You were the whole damn prize. Tessa taught me that heartbreak isn't always a punishment. Sometimes it's the universe prying open the door you were too scared to walk through. Yourself. And on the other side of that door, past all the grief and humiliation and silence, you'll find peace so deep it almost feels like flight. That's where I am now. Not waiting, not wishing, just free.